Hello everybody, it's Andrew from 510 Books. It is Friday. Happy Friday, September 12th, 2025, and I'm here in my store, but I want to share with you what sold in the last 24 hours. I had 6 sales on eBay, not on Amazon, but I have some interesting sales and just want to talk about it with you and share it with you, and hopefully it helps if you are new to selling, thinking about selling, or even if you've been around a while, a grizzled seller like myself, just some ideas and thoughts about what I'm selling and how I'm getting these sales. So let's dive in right now. So as I mentioned, I sold 6 items on eBay, including this book, DVD, and 2 CDs. I also sold a CD lot. Well, it's sort of a lot. It's a CD set, and then a box of empty, 35 empty DVD cases, but I'll share with you why that's interesting. So first of all, I sold this this book called The Big Jump by, Lee Brackett, and it is signed. It is from, it's a vintage paperback. It is science fiction, and it is from 1955. And as you can see, it's signed right there. This is one of the book consignments, one of the book consignment books. I just listed it. So yes, between yesterday and the day before, I listed 22 individual books and 7 book lots. So what is that? 27 in total. And so far I've sold 2, and this is the second one that came in, and this sold for $29.99. Without the signature, this book doesn't go for very much on eBay. I think less than $10. But with the signature, it's a little bit more desirable, obviously. And I don't believe when I looked it up that it had any, that there were any copies that were actually signed. So in these kind of instances, with the vintage science fiction or just older paperback books, vintage paperback books, if the artwork looks pretty cool, which most of them do, to be honest, it might be worth it to look it up. Of course, you can just look real quick to see if it's signed. Often, if it's first edition, those can be worth some good money. There are many, probably thousands of vintage paperback books that with really cool covers, that if it's the first edition, first printing, even without it being signed, can be worth some good money. So keep that in mind. But of course, if you come across a collection of signed books, then you're going to want to look those up. Regardless of what they are. I also sold the best of McCoy Tyner. This came from a Gaylord. I see here on the post-it, Gaylord. And this sold for $7.19 plus shipping. So not much money. It's been on eBay for quite a while. This is one of those that I'm running a discount sale on. I just started a new cycle of discount sales. So I recommend this strongly if you want to have consistent sales, is to run discount sales on your older items. So for me, I run discount sales on items that are from 90 days old to, I think it was a year and a half. And then a year and a half and older, I run a more aggressive discount sale. Like at this point, I'm above 50% off. And for my items that are 90 days plus old, I'm doing like anywhere between 25 to 30% off, so a little bit less. But those 2 discount sales alone, I run them I usually have them go for a couple of weeks, and then I'll reset them, put different percentages. Sometimes I'll add other inventory that's aged into those categories, and and that generates sales every time I run them. So I recommend that strongly, because sometimes you list things and you think it's going to sell for what you want, and it's just not. And it's better to sell it for something than just never get what you think you're going to get. You might as well discount it. And then I sold this CD, which is History of the Blues Harmonica Concert, and it sold for $28.79 plus shipping. These are all plus shipping on eBay. And this came from those 5 CD-only pallets or Gaylords that I got a few years back. So I'm still selling off those. And I listed this, guys, here's an example. I listed this for $39.99, but it sold for $28.79, and I'm totally fine with that. If it sold for 40 bucks, of course, even better. But almost a third, just under a $30 sale is great. I don't mind this sitting around. Obviously, I want to sell 100% of everything every day. But guys, guess what? It's not reality unless you're only selling items that sell the same day. And good luck finding a lot of those, right? At least in this niche. But let's not go into that. So this one sold for good money. And then Jeff, so this is Jeff, Jeff Ross's Roasts America. Turns out this DVD is valuable. I got this as part of a $15 local buy back in, May. So it took, a few months for it to sell, and it sold for $39.99 plus shipping. Turns out that this one is rare, so be on the lookout for it. Jeff Ross Roasts. I'm willing to bet if this was sitting on a thrift store shelf, a lot of resellers wouldn't even look it up. Do stand-up comedy DVDs usually sell for this much money? Not typically, but I know that he's popular now and has been popular for a while. He became even bigger. He doesn't really look like that anymore. So this is definitely much older, but what do you call it? But those kind of things are things to consider. If someone's hot right now, if someone, if it's maybe someone that is sort of being refound from that they were a comic in the 60s or 70s or 80s or whatever, so just keep those things in mind, that most stand-up comic DVDs might not be worth money, but this one is, and it's good to think about that when you come across them. I also sold this Masters of Classical Music, and it's actually sealed. I won't take it out because I have it packed in there pretty good. It fit perfectly in this box that I pulled out of the recycling dumpster for free, and it sold for $15.83. This was part of a $50 local buy back in March. I don't remember that buy off the top of my head. It's not a great sale, $15, but it's sealed, and it's really the only way you're going to make any money off of this particular set, because I've seen these CDs loose a ton of times. And so it's up to you whether you want to sell something like this. I had listed for $21.99, and then it ended up selling for $15, almost $16 and change plus shipping. The last thing that I sold that I want to share with you are all of these empty DVD cases. So number one, if you're going to ship empty DVD cases, understand that if it doesn't have the media inside, you are not allowed, according to the post office, to ship it media mail. So make sure and ship it probably ground or something like that. But just keep that in mind. So the reason that why these are interesting is because these are actually Blockbuster. These are original Blockbuster cases. Let's see. You can see the Blockbuster right there. I think this one is actually not Blockbuster. It just looks like it, but the rest of them are, for sure. They all have the Blockbuster logo inside. I just realized that, but I did have it listed for, this is strange. So there was 35 of them in the crate that I had it stored in, but I had it listed for 34 of them, and this one's not Blockbuster, so I don't know what happened there. But anyway, that's a side note. So definitely, Blockbuster cases. The downside to selling this, is this did take a while to sell, and it sold for, I think it was like $29 and change is what it was, plus shipping. So not a big sale, but I would prefer to, and I have the space for this, right, and the patience somewhat. I would prefer to sell cases like this to the right buyer and just wait it out instead of just throwing them away, because I think, I don't know, for nostalgic purposes, clearing my conscience and knowing I'm not just throwing them out, that there might be somebody who wants to use old Blockbuster cases. So anyway, so that's up to you guys. I know a lot of people are really focused only on the money and don't really care about that other stuff, but I sell what I love and what I know. And that's a big part of the business that I run. Is it's not just about making money, but it's also about doing what feels right to me. So keep that in mind. That might be, helpful for you as you're building your business. Right. So that was 6 sales in the last 24 hours. So now I am going to ship everything and see what happens in the store today. If it's going to be busy or not. But yeah, hopefully learn something, or at least entertained you with what I sold. That Jeff Ross roast DVD, I think, is something to definitely look out for, and was a surprise to me, but a pleasant surprise that it could sell for that much money. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I talk about my reselling journey as I continue to build my eBay business, a little bit of Amazon, as well as my local store, where I sell books, physical media, so mostly books, music, movies, video games. Yeah, so definitely subscribe, leave comments, ask questions if you want to see a video about something. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.